Welcome to class soulmate. So in this class we're going to be learning how to make a bubu, and the bubu is going to be having pleats at the shoulders. So here I folded my fabric into two first. You can see this place does not have an opening. Then I folded it into two again, making it four. This means that the front and the back is going to be on the same line, the same measurements. Everything is going to be the same, and the shoulders I'm not going to be having any seam line along this part. So I folded according to the length of the bubu that I want. You determine the length that you want. Now, if you want to add strap or ruch at the lower part of it, you need to make it longer depending on what you want. Okay, but in this case, I'm making mine a bit longer so that when I draw it up, it's not going to be above where I want it to be. So I've measured the shoulder line here, which is not going to have a cut but a guideline to what I want to do. Now I'm going to measure the length of my bust and waist. This is actually a bubu, so it's going to be wide. So all of these measurements might not be necessary. So all you have to do is just to draw it straight to the length that you want while adding enough allowance, okay, so that it is free on you. So I'm going to get the actual measurement, then I'll add allowance to it depending on how big I want it to be. So the actual measurement I'm working with is 9.5, right? Then I'm going to be adding extra 4 inches because this is just for a little girl. I want to add 4 inches. This 4 inches includes the seam allowance, but if you want it to be bigger than this, like quite big, you can decide to add extra one, which is going to serve as your seam allowance. So altogether all I have is about 14.75. Okay, so I'm going to measure the same 14.75 because it is quite bigger than the measurements of everything that I have. Now when doing this, you're going to use the widest part of your measurement to get this calculation so that everywhere will be the same. So I'm going to measure the same 14.75 on the hip area, or the lower part, not just the hip area because it's bigger, longer than the hip area. So I'll rule it on a straight line down to where I want it to stop. Okay, now the next thing is to mark the armhole opening. How wide do you want the armhole to be? You're the one to determine how wide you want it to be. I'm going to be using 9 inches. I could use 10 inches as well, including the seam allowance, because this is just for a little girl, even though she's kind of grown, the adult children that we have today. I don't even know if that is correct. Just that she's big like an adult, but still a child. So I'm going to just curve it this like this, okay? And this is just all that we need on this. Now after cutting this out, I'm going to cut the neckline, but let me get the back of the neckline first. I don't want to have a wide neckline, so I'm going to be using 3 inches. I'm going to cut out the back first, then open it up to slant the front the way I want. So for the back, I'm going to be marking 0.75. You can do 1 inch, but since it's on freehand, by the time I turn it with facing, it's going to be lower than 1 inch. Okay, so I'm going to cut this out. So I want to cut this part out first. Okay, so we've cut this part out. I'm going to cut out this 1 inch that I kept here. this 1 inch is for both the back and the front. Since the back is going to be higher, that's why I'm cutting it together. I'll then open it up and cut the front. Now I measured from this edge, from the shoulder line to 5 inches, which is where I want the front neckline to be. This is just a guide so that when I open it up, I'll know where I want to stop the measurement. So I'm going to open it this way. I'll use one part for the front and one part for the back. So I'm going to keep it this way. I see the way I'm keeping it, making sure that this neckline matches. I'll have to put them together. So if possible, you can use pin to hold them together so that you'll have measurements on the same line. So this part is going to be my front. So I'll shift it so that you see it properly. So this is where I marked the 5 inches where I want the neckline to stop. But I want this to be asymmetric in nature, okay? I want it to be asymmetric, so I'm going to just rule a straight line before I open it up. From this neck point, I'm going to rule straight line to my 5 inches, like use it to form a box, so that I will open it up and continue my measurement from there. Now I'm going to do this on the right hand, on the front side of the fabric. So even what I marked inside is no longer useful to me right now. So I'm going to be remarking, because I want to get the shape exactly the way it's supposed to be. Symmetric is supposed to be done on the right side of the fabric so that you get it exactly the way you want it to be. Okay, so what it means is that we're going to retake our measurements from this shoulder point to 5 inches, like so. Right now, from this side, I'm going to also mark the 5 inches, but my measurement is going to be kind of curved to meet what I want. So I'm going to measure the 5 inches down from this neck point. I hope you're following. Please kindly subscribe to this channel and give it a thumbs up if you appreciate the video. So my measurement is going to be coming like this. Okay, so I'm going to use my curve and place it from this 5 inches that I kept here to this point at the neck point. I want to curve it in. Okay, make sure the fabric is not folding so you can get the measurements that you want, and I will connect it this way. I hope my hand is not curving, so I'll just place my curve and slant it this way. This is an asymmetric design because it's not even on the same line. Okay, so that's what I want to do, and I'm going to cut it from this neck point. I'm going to cut it just the way I've marked it, following my measurements. Okay, and I'll cut it on the straight line to the neck point, just like this. Now, while doing this, you need to make sure that this can actually pass the head of the person that you're working for, right? You need to ascertain that this can pass the head. If this cannot pass the head, it's either you open it small or you have a slant at the back, however you choose to do it. So I'm going to test this now to be sure that it can pass through the head. So I inserted a fabric under this neckline hole, and I'm going to use the same shape. This will serve as the facing of the neckline. Okay, it's going to serve as the facing, so I'm going to trace it out using the same measurement I carved out for the neckline. All right, so you have to do the same. Please subscribe to my channel, like and share this video if it's helpful to you. If it's not, other people will find it interesting. Please continue to share it until it gets to the right people that will need it. But I know you love it. At least you love the voice you're hearing. Okay, so this is what I have. I'm not going to remove the pins that I used to hold it, and then I'm going to mark out the wideness of the facing the way I want it. Now this is all we need. All I'm going to do is to put it together, right side facing right side, and join the armhole and the sides together. Okay, after which we'll come back and continue. So this is what I have. I'm not going to trace out the wideness of the facing. I can do 3 inches right round. I can do 4 inches. I can do 2.5 inches. 2.5 might be quite small. Don't want something that will be coming out of the neckline. So 3 inches round is okay. You can use hemming gum to hold it in. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do, right? And then I'll join it together. So, soulmates, the pocket was no longer needed at the front. After doing all of this I did here, I had to lose it and fix it by the side because the owner no longer wants it at the front but by the side. Okay, and that was how it ended. There was no rope and the rope was very tiny below, right? So that is the picture we're going to see right after this. So here is what we have. The trouser is on this channel in case you need it, and this is the bubu for a young lady. Thank you for watching. Bye.